Right, I've been ringing this dinner bell for months to a year plus now, right? I've been saying that there is some problem with Honkai Star Rail when it comes to just the release schedule of their characters, and it's something we've spoken about all the time. But now that we've had the drip marketing conclude for the next patch, we still haven't seen a 4-star. The last 4-star was Moza, and that was in 2.5 if I remember, September 9th. I've ever since January, I've been having concerns about this kind of being a thing. And I'm not here to be the one to tell you, drop the game is terrible. I went on a redemption arc. I am much more relaxed now and less incendiary than I was with my content now than I was a month ago. But yeah, why does Honkai Star Rail hate 4-stars? The answer is pretty obvious. I would assume it's the money. But to the degree that has happened, it is now going to approach well over a year, or hit that year mark pretty soon with no 4-star. And I'm not going to be the one to say it's because of power creep and there's plenty of issues with like the game scaling system or HP inflation. I'm not here for the meta. I'm here for the people who enjoy collecting or play the gacha for the gacha, right? The endgame game modes, everything else can suck a dick. But this in particular just doesn't seem to want to be a thing that they want to address. They don't want to release one, they're allergic. And I have some level of idea that the reason we're not getting one is because we do have Archer coming up, who is free, and I do understand that. And before we get any further, I do want to say I haven't played the game since the announcement of the Castories thing. That was a lot. I might pick the game up again. I've been a bit bored recently, who knows? But the main issue isn't so much that we are not getting a 4-star. For me, the main issue is we're not getting something to replace that 4-star that comes in good content, that comes in good story, that comes in new endgame modes, which are really fun, because none of those things are apparent in Honkai Star Rail. That can be subjective, I digress. I think the most prime example is Wuthering Waves, and I know there is a bit of a turf war. You're either a Blood or a Crip, you're either a Waver or a Honker, you know what I'm saying? And for some reason or another, we give Wuthering Waves a pass because, yes, it's been since December since they last released their 4-star in Lumi. But with that being said, we have had 2 essentially new regions since then. Renacida and Renacida 2, I'm blanking on the name. And the overall quality in those games, or in Wuthering Waves, in terms of storytelling, in terms of pacing, character designs, release schedules, we're not pushing out one new region whenever we damn well feel like it, which feels like that is to be the case with Honkai Star Rail. With Wuthering Waves, we're actually kind of pushing out directly good content with everything. Renacida, you know, the whole Fleur-de-Lis, Artetia storyline, like the story as well, in my opinion, in Wuthering Waves has been picking up and up and up the more we have played. And for me, with Star Rail, I think everyone has agreed, it is on a very quick and sharp downward trajectory. And that's just a comparison to begin, okay? I'm not trying to say Wuthering Waves is better than Honkai or vice versa, or hoyoverse Kuro. I'm not trying to speak about any of those turf wars, or, you know, anything with the power scaling and all those dilemmas. Because the first thing a lot of people are going to say is, actually, the game is pointless to have 4-stars because it's so advanced that they're not going to be good enough. No, we're not talking about that. They're just allergic to them for the main reason of they don't make very much money. If at all, because the whole reason you make a 4-star, more or less, is to give back to fans, because they're usually accompanied by a 5-star on the exact same banner, which is also brand new, so it's like a little tidbit bonus, you know what I mean? Or they just don't really come out at all. And the reason I mention that they typically are accompanied is due to, like, I'm going through and looking at all the banners now, and when we get new 4-stars, for example, the first one we got was Luca, came with Kafka. Lynx came with Fujuan. Like, it's typically a bundle deal because it feels like people aren't going to pull for them in and of itself by themselves. Now, I'm not going to say it's the case every time, but it very much is conscious, or at the very least, they are conscious that 4-stars people do love, sure, but financially speaking, no fucking way. They're not going to eclipse any 5-stars. So obviously priority goes on 5-stars, because let's face it, you can make a 4-star, make the animation slightly better, and it's a 5-star, right? So in terms of the development cycle of creating a 4-star, it's only for fans at that point. It is primarily only to give back to fans as something new that everyone gets to build and see what they can do with it, you know what I mean? And in Honkai Star Rail's case, at least in my opinion, I'm not going to say they've given up on the fans, right? I'm trying to be much more neutral in my approach here. But I will say, it feels like they're starting to phone it in, especially with the way the story's been plummeting in 3.0 onwards. Like, I couldn't even get through 0.0 because it was just so goddamn bad. They have started to add things like skip buttons, sure, I will admit to that, but it feels kind of like panic stations a little bit. And I'm sure they've probably got some similar thing on the back of the numbers for their Genshin too, but another topic for another video. But more importantly, it feels like, yeah, they're starting to only do these things because their back is finally up against that wall that they thought they would never hit. Too big to fall, you know what I mean? Which I still think Honkai Star Rail is never really going to inherently fail because the hoyoverse has such diehard fans it will always survive. And they're just trying to find that gap and bridge that gap to realize, okay, what's the least amount of work we can do for the most amount of satisfaction to the customer? And I definitely will say that skip button is an omen. They are starting to realize, oh shit, people are not playing anymore. And like, yeah, I'm looking at the new designs now of Seradra or Kadra or Keradra. I don't fucking know. And Hisselins. And I said this on Twitter as well. Hisselins is just Linksha in Zilla cosplay. Like, I am just looking at this company confused day in, day out, because I don't get it. They make enough money to do 4-star characters, and it gives back to fans and it keeps fans happy, and if you keep a fan happy, they're gonna stick around, okay? The designs are even starting to feel lazier. I don't know, maybe that is just me. Let me know in the comments below if you do think that that is the case, or if that isn't the case. Let me know if you still play, by the way, because that is something I do actually have an interest in wanting to know. Because I'm at this point exclusively Woowa. I started playing Shadowverse, but as you can see, that didn't do well. But Woowa does feel like a game that continuously does give back to its fans. Now, there are so many other factors that do come into saying that, you know, may benefit or not benefit you, or benefit one party but not the other. Whereas one's open world, one's segmented, one's turn-based, one's free combat, okay? One's ARPG-esque. So it comes down to what you like, and that's all that really matters. But the fact that we're going to turn a blind eye and keep just not acknowledging this missing component to a game that is now going to be a year in time, in real human days, not in in-game time zones, we're actually going to be seeing a full year go by since Moza, and virtually nothing to show for it. Like, yeah, Archer free, I said that before, but that's not a 4-star. I don't know if we'll ever see one again. I believe we'll probably will get one. We will in, I would assume, November, December, if I was to inherently guess. But when that finally happens, we're going to be in for another year or nothing. The only time we'll start seeing them roll out 4-star semi-consistently, which is for gacha games pretty much consistently. I don't expect one every patch. I don't think anyone does. But I think it'd be fair to say we expect, you know, more than one a year. Shit, even 2 would be that point of time when you kind of think, we're definitely due one, but then we finally get... We've been waiting on one since, like, I would argue March, right? March, April. We've been like, okay, it's time, next patch, and then we keep getting drip, and there's no 4-star, and then we keep getting drip, and there's no 4-star, and we're also releasing new paths in the game, and sure, they are free to use because of MC, but I would like someone else to put into that mix as well. We're just not getting those 4-stars. Ever. What are they thinking? Still love Star Rail. It was awesome at launch. Bellabog still clears every storyline, which is a question nobody asked. And, I swear to God as well, if we do start getting these 4-stars when all these other games do come out, you know, like Familiar, NTE, Ananta, list goes on, there are like 500 now to be excited for. I don't even know what the fuck. You know, I'm going to wake up tomorrow, going to be another game to look forward to. If we start seeing 4-stars come out when these games get close to their release dates, like Enfield again, for example, that's coming out end of the year. We have a beta test coming out in, I believe, a month. Conspiracy theory, but it will happen, trust. I'm sure they're only going to do it in retaliation. I think you know, I think at that point, a lot of fans are going to jump ship because these games are going to treat them good. You think Ananta's going to flop? No fucking way. If Ananta's real, that's also the biggest question ever. Too little, too late is all I'm going to be saying for, you know, good old Honkai Starbucks. But with that being said, let me know if you think I am, you know, smoking on something absolutely insane, or if I have some truth in this pointless, insane rant, which again, I don't know if it's even a video. If it is, hey, hope you're having a good month, day, week, whatever it is. And, yeah, I'll be making some more offline videos instead of just blanket reacts, because, yeah, I don't have much fun kind of doing that. I like being more interactive like this for the video. Anyway, love you all. Goodbye now.